Hello. So for my Conversation Friday paper, I analyzed and transcribed a scene from the television show 30 Rock. The scene portrays writer Liz and her boss Jack trying to renegotiate a contract, like a job contract deal for one of the writers on the show. And it's going to be an exchange between the writer Liz, the boss Jack, the other writer Josh, who they're renegotiating his contract, and his agent. So basically, we talk about stance. And stance is how a person displays their internal state or attitude, and stance indicators are clues that people use to interpret another person's attitude towards themselves or a situation. To start off with, Liz's stance on how Josh was punished by Jack, she felt was inadequate. So Liz exclaimed to Jack, "That's it," indicating her unhappiness about the outcome of the situation. And she uses that's a nonverbal conversational, she uses nonverbal conversational signals by talking faster, using a louder voice, and becoming vocally animated as she begins to get more frustrated throughout the scene. These indicators relay the message that Liz is unhappy with the outcome and she wants a better one. Liz also shows some hostile or negative stance towards Josh with avowals of feelings. An avowal of feelings is simply means stating how you're feeling towards someone or something. She approaches Josh and shouts at him, "You made me look like an idiot, you have to pay." This further explains why her stance is that Josh needs a better punishment. And other nonverbal conversational signals of Liz's feelings towards Josh include her waving her hands around throughout the conversation, waving them around frantically, and pointing towards Josh and his agent a lot. So then we move on to Jack, Jack demonstrates nonverbal immediacy behaviors during the beginning of the exchange. He wants to be clear that his stance in this meeting is one that's a serious one, and he's not amused that Josh tried to go behind the company's back to get a better offer for renegotiating his contract. So Jack invites Josh and his agent into his office and tells them to take a seat, gentlemen. And the only two available chairs in the room, Liz and Jack have already taken. And so they kind of look around for a second, like not knowing where to go because there's no chairs at all. So whenever they look around, find no chairs, he's used this nonverbal behavior of removing the chairs to relay the message that he's not to be lied to or taken advantage of. Jack also shows the nonverbal behaviors whenever Liz starts to almost like release information regarding meetings to replace Josh. Jack is not pleased with this, so whenever she starts to try to divulge into that, he places his hand on hers to kind of stop her. Now later on in the scene, we see that Jack shows Liz he's impressed with her choice of a degrading punishment for Josh when he uses his conversational signals, like being vocally animated with his giddiness. Whenever he's like, "Wow, oh my gosh, you know, the worm," and his immediacy behaviors are him standing closer to her to show interest in her decision to choose this degrading punishment. And moving on to Josh tries to figure out Jack's stance of the headshots that's blatantly put on the coffee table at the beginning of the meeting. Josh starts by asking, "What are all the headshots for?" And Jack replies with nothing, following a short pause. This is an example of hiding his stance accretion when he replies nothing, because Jack is usually a very straightforward person, but he's hiding his motive regarding the headshots in order to get the upper hand on the renegotiation of the contract. And lastly, Josh's stance on Liz's punishment for him. At first, he's unsure if she's serious, so he looks to Jack to see if, like, is this serious? Do I have to do this? And Jack just looks back at Liz to kind of show his that he's like standing firm with her decision to make him do this ridiculous request as her choice of punishment. And so then he starts to comply and reluctantly gets on the ground and starts dancing and doing the worm for Liz. And that's all I have for you guys. Thanks.